Good morning. It's Sunday. Good morning, Sunday. I am streaming now. Sunday. Yeah, I don't even know really what I'm going to talk about today. I don't think I'm going to do too much of a video today. It's Sunday. I'm just going to take it easy. Drink some bub mug. I thought of a piece of advice for young artists, which is document your work very well. Maybe a lot of artists that work digitally, it's probably not as big of a problem because work is your documentation to a large degree, but I don't know, I've done a lot of drawings and paintings, physical media, and having really good documentation of all of them as you go will come in very handy as your career progresses. I'm finding that I have to do a lot of re-documentation of older work because the documentation is not great, and it's definitely a big hurdle. It's annoying. So take good documentation of your work. Clarify your series, or clarify the reasons behind maybe what you're doing. I find that's helpful for me. It's nice to kind of have an idea before I start 10 pieces. Say, oh, okay, I know a general direction for these, and I have kind of almost like an idea for each one, or an idea for the whole body, and that can be helpful. I don't know if that's necessarily advice. That's pretty idiosyncratic, but the documentation thing, that's important. Other thing I was kind of thinking about is, and I saw this video on, I think it was PBS Ideas channel or something a while back, about, will the internet run out of ideas? I don't know if that's necessarily the question I'd ask. I'd ask maybe more like, will there be a point, like I already see this happening on YouTube, where I'm starting to see these kind of forums, like I had this thought the other day that people like Ben Shapiro and stuff like this, they're really very little difference from someone like Rush Limbaugh was, on television. Like when I was growing up, I remember the Rush Limbaugh show in the morning, and it's just kind of like the same things. Like they're almost saying very, very similar kinds of, sort of talking points, right? And I guess these talking points have been around for a long time. So what I'm noticing on YouTube is that there's almost this return to television forms that existed previously, but then they're just finding this kind of new expression on YouTube. And then I guess my thought process around this is like, is there going to be a point where YouTube is almost like a hierarchy of who speaks to the idea, even if 4,000 people are basically saying the exact same thing, maybe one of those people is saying it with the most eloquence or the most entertainment value or whatever it is. And then I don't know, it almost does it make everybody else's expression of that idea moot, is my question. Maybe like is it almost like I think about this with education on YouTube too. It's like before you used to have to pay a bunch of money to go sit in a lecture hall with 100 people, let's say maximum, or a couple hundred people, and now you pay nothing, or you pay your $30 a month internet or $40 a month internet or whatever you pay to watch YouTube lectures. And these, you can broadcast, as a professor, you can broadcast to millions of people. Now obviously there's a slight difference between being in a physical classroom, there are differences, but the nature of education is really changing. And if if you have access to the best lectures possible in the entire world, why would you go to your local school and pay money for somebody who's maybe not as world renowned, or maybe someone who's not as valued in the educational community? So I mean, that's a pretty serious question for me. I think that poses some pretty serious problems to academic institutions. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the first person to talk about this, but there you go, right? Perfect example. It's like, you know, we're not all going to come to ideas at the same time and for the same reason. Sometimes I think about this with identities as well. Like, you know, you see that markets skew in the direction of the person, right? So if it's like a you know, a female, you'll have more of a female audience. If it's a male, you'll have more of a male audience. Or that tends to be sort of, you see that a lot on the internet. It's almost like these identity. It's like it's hard to hear someone who's not speaking your language. So I mean, there's that too, right? Like, does every idea need to be expressed in multiple ways just to communicate the same idea to multiple types of people? There's a question I'm gonna leave you with today. So it's a short stream. I'm just gonna leave it at 6 minutes. So have a good day, peace, and I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll start the week off right. See ya.